So in this tutorial for Cavalry, I'll be showing you how to make this spiral text fill effect. Let's take a look. Let's start off by creating a background. Let's click on its fill and make that black. Let's option click on the text. Let's center align it horizontally and vertically. Let's choose black for the style, choose 640 for the font size, and let's just type the word spiral in the text field. Then let's come over to the fill and turn that off. Turn on the stroke and let's make this white so we can see it. Then let's select the text, come up here and make a duplicator. We want to set the distribution to 0 and the count to 36. So then we want to come to deformers and we want to add a submesh to this duplicator. So let's come to the submesh, and the first thing I want to do is come to the rotation and I want to add behavior and stagger. And this is what's going to create our spirally effect. Let's double click on the stagger rotation to bring that up. So what we want to do is we want to keyframe this. So first of all, let me just set my frame range to 120. Back on the stagger, let's keyframe the maximum at -10 at the start, and at the end let's set it to -60. You can see how that spiral develops like that. Come back to our submesh, sort out the position. So we want to add a stagger to this as well. Add behavior stagger, but only to the X. Let's select that. Here we'll have a minimum of -150, maximum of 0. Now let's come back to our duplicator and masks, and let's just mask this using the text. So drag the text into the clipping masks there. And now that effect is masked inside the text shape. Come back to our submesh. Let's add a stagger to the opacity. So right click, add behavior stagger. Select the stagger opacity and let's have a minimum value of 25. That'll just help to fade it off a little bit. Maybe just come to the graph and select this, and I think that looks nicer. And we also want to come back to the submesh and we want to add a stagger to the scale. So add behavior stagger for both X and Y. Let's select that scale. We want to go from a minimum of 0.25 to a maximum of 1, and that is looking quite nice. But what we really need to do is we need to add some color. So let's come to the submesh, and this is really the reason that I used a submesh modifier. We could have done all that on the duplicator, but let's come to the stroke and turn on replace stroke, and then right click here to add a shader and choose gradient shader. And let's double click on the gradient shader, and I'm just very quickly going to set up some colors here in the gradient. So here we go. Here is our colored effect looking like this, and just to finish it off, let's give it some glow. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select everything and right click and pre-compose selection, and then what I can do is I can add a box blur, and let's add it as a filter to our pre-composed composition. Let's set the amount to 50 for X and Y, and then set the blend mode to plus, and that's quite an easy way of getting ourselves some nice glow in there. So just a final little thing we could do is we could open back up our composition and come back to our text. Let's come to frame 10 and let's keyframe the character spacing, and then let's come to the first frame and adjust that character spacing to a negative value till the letters are all mixed up on top of each other. We can come back to our other composition and just play it, and you can see we get that nice little reveal there, and that's the effect. So hope you have fun with it. Thanks for watching. See you again soon.